Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the DCI number 03P-LTD in a US28 finish. This is a trim for their Panex 1200 and 1300 series exit devices. So what we're dealing with here is this exit device trim, and you know, a common trim in the sense of trims being common. I have to say we don't sell them often. Trims are usually ordered after the device is ordered. Like, wait a minute, how am I going to get in? Or I suppose they're damaged, vandalized, things of that nature. Generally, you're going to sell a trim with an exit device. But if it's not ordered at that time, you might add one later, or you might need one because it's come broken or unglued, so to speak. Below this video are several documents, a brochure of the exit device, and we'll go through all those. There's also a link to the installation instructions, two sides to the page. It's a full-size template, and it will really, and really what it is the entire installation instructions for the entire device, which would make sense that you would get this because there's really not much to do other than prep for the trim. If you have an exit-only device, there are no holes going through the door. If you have an exterior trim, yeah, there's going to be some holes that will certainly go through the door, and we are going to address those holes. And let's go through it methodically. Let's start with a visual review of the trim itself. Get with this trim is you get, of course, the just solid aluminum milled Escutcheon is what you get. Okay, so obviously what's going to go up here is going to be a rim cylinder. You're going to get the through bolt lugs that will get you through the door. Okay. Then you're going to get your pull handle. Small little, probably 3/4 inch solid aluminum bar stock. Okay. You certainly get the idea of how that's going to work. Now, it's available in US28 or 313, the dark, or SP13, whatever they call it, the dark bronze version of this. And let's take some dimensional properties. Overall width of the escutcheon, about 1 inch and 15/16. Overall height, about 9 3/4. Okay, it's awfully thick. It's probably about 3/8 thick or so. Yeah, maybe 5/16. That pull handle, let's take some dimensions of it. Overall height is 6 1/4. That should mean it's going to be 5 1/2 center to center would be my guess. Yeah, indeed. That makes it 3/4 inch bar stock. Okay. Overall projection from the face of the door is probably going to be pushing 2 1/2 inch when we add the plate to it. The clearance on the inside is going to be about 1 1/2 inches. Then you're going to get your bolts that are going to come in play here. So they're going to give you a rim cylinder retaining plate. You probably don't need that. You're going to supply a rim cylinder. You pretty much always get those with rim cylinders. Then you're going to have your 2 bolts and your flathead countersunk finish washers that will go through the door. Then you're going to have your threaded lugs. Those are going to go certainly on the back of the plate. Let's take a closer look at that now. And the threaded lugs are going to go, obviously, the only place they really can go, to the back of the plate. And depending on the side, the hand that you're doing, you're going to just install those, thread those into the plate accordingly, one on top of each other or for the other hand. And your device is going to obviously bolt to that. So this trim is going to be severely bolted through the door. The pull handle is going to go all the way through the door with these large stove bolts and their finish washers. And you get the concept of how the rest of that's going to work. Okay. Now let's take a tour through the installation instructions, and you can pull it up on your screen. It's called installation instructions. Step 1 is to determine the hand of the door, and the hand of the door is because this template is left-hand reverse doors this side, right-hand reverse doors this side. It's an exit device, so we're only going to call it left-hand reverse or right-hand reverse. When you are standing on the pull side of the door, on the exterior side, the hinges are either on the left or the right. If they're on the left, it's a left-hand reverse. If they're on the right, it's a right-hand reverse. It's that simple. You're standing on the secure side of the opening, and that's how you're going to determine the handing. That's important because these holes are not symmetrical down the center line of this template at all. These are offset. These are over here. So looking at the left-hand reverse, step 1, determine hand of door. Tape template to inside of door at the suggested height of 40 5/16 above finished floor. If door has a blade stop, remove for area of strike. So 40 5/16 is a very typical, common height from the finished floor to the center line of the cylinder. By all means, use that. That will certainly put you within compliance of handicap code for both the exit and the center of where the pull handle will fall. You'll have no problem with any of that. Can you install it a little bit higher? You can. Not really a problem. But then at that point, you can start to get into it possibly encroaching into metal vision frames that are installed. It might get too high to work compatibly with other hardware. As a general rule, 40 5/16 is an absolute good rule of thumb, and it's one that I use. You'll find that dimension on other manufacturers' exit devices, and it's not because they like 40 5/16. It's just that dimension really works well for ADA compliance and for the location of the exit device. Step 2, drill holes. So the template's now on the door. You're going to fold this over along the dashed line and fold it against the soffit. The soffit is a funny word that is used to explain a piece of the real estate on the frame. And there's lots of parts to frames, areas that we define them as: the face, the rabbet, the return, the back bend return, the jam depth, the stop face, if I haven't already said that. But then there's this funny thing right here. That's called the soffit. Okay, so this is the area where your strike gets installed onto. So that's the area that's important because that is literally going to give us, when we fold that over, the proper dimension from when we are justifying or making true the dimension between the strike as it's installed on the soffit, its projection, and the placement of the exit device on the door itself. So this template will actually act as the document or the paper that's going to permit you to have a properly installed exit device. Okay, and as a result, they really don't tell you the back set, even though you can easily determine it. They do tell. Yeah, they do. I mean, 1 3/32 of an inch from the soffit to the vertical center line. Add your soffit projection. Some people will call it your stop projection, and that would be correct to call it that as well. But actually, it's probably the correct way to call it. From the rabbet to the stop, or the rabbet to the soffit, that's the projection. It's generally 5/8 on a hollow metal frame. So 1 3/32 plus 5/8 is going to be your back set minus your margin between the edge of the door and the frame itself. That would be your back set. As you'll notice, this has an unusual back set. Not unusual, it's typical for this, but it's not 2 3/4, etc. So be mindful that you're actually using the template. So what I do when I install these is I will, I first of all will do a reality check on everything. I'll make sure the template's correct. And once I know that the dimensions called out in the template actually match the physical size of the paperwork, I will mark my holes. What are all the holes I'm going to need? I'm going to need this center line. I'm going to need the center line for the lugs. I'm going to need this center line, both vertically and horizontally. And once I have all that laid out, I just go there with my center punch. Bam, 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 bam. After I've double checked. Once I've got that, I might even go to the door itself and mark what holes I'm supposed to drill. But when you're dealing with, if I'm installing the hardware, I might go there and just mark the diameter of the holes I'm to drill and be quick with it. But otherwise, I generally would certainly only write in pencil, although that's hard to see at times. So getting your template on the door, doing a reality check, marking all your holes, now you're ready to drill. And then you simply use, well, aren't they clever? They call it a drill chart. So step 2, drill your A, B, and C holes. You do mark your holes on your strike as well. Okay, and that will come with the device. Let's see here now. Step 3, install the studs in the trim plate and mount the LTD trim and handle to the door through the E holes using the long quarter 20 screws and their finish washers. Mount that exit device. So your trim is now on the door. Get your exit device installed down onto it. Get your strike installed. Level the device. Make sure that your device is level, because these are the other holes that you're going to need to account for, where this end mounting bracket, that mounting bracket's good. The exit device is going to go on the door. That mounting bracket's going to come, or the mounting bracket will go, and then the exit device will go down over it. Adjust strike to allow a 32nd to a 16th of an inch gap between the face of the door and stop. Drill the F hole to secure the strike. Okay, so the A hole, the holes marked A, forgive me, will be drilled, will be prepped first, and then you will adjust that laterally so that you have a proper 32nd or a 16th of an inch. When the exit is in the closed and latched position, you want there to be that dimension, about a 16th, from the face of the door to the face of the stop. So when the door is in the closed position, okay, the dimension right here. You'll adjust that strike to get it perfect. Then once that's done, you will drill and then use your screw through this hole that's marked F, and that will keep it from any sort of lateral movement. At that point, you're done. I mean, obviously your device goes on, you'll thread into the back of the threaded studs, and it's simple stuff. Simple stuff and DCI literally go hand in hand. They are practically perfect when it comes to literally making stuff simple and easy for you to get along with. You will have to provide a cylinder. That is not, I'm sure that it's mentioned somewhere, but you will definitely have to provide a rim cylinder. Now let's go through quick. We went through the installation instructions. No need to go through those again. The balance of the extended description information down below we have covered. This will fit on 2-inch narrow style aluminum storefront doors, which I don't often see, but very nice that they state that it will work there. There's a Panex brochure. Panex is the name used for their exit devices. You'll bump into that name on specifications. I did many years ago, and I really spent a lot of time looking at plans and specs. Kind of don't have a lot of time for that now, so I don't know how infused the Panex name is in specifications. But that document is handy because it will show you, an overview of the system, an overview of all the available trims, the electrification available on their lever style trim. Product information is also there. That's just of the trim, so that's a single product brochure or cut sheet or tear sheet. Then there are cut sheets for the 1200 and 1300, but those are really installation instructions is what they really are. Don't know why they're called cut sheet. I will have those retitled installation instructions because they are literally the 1300 series installation instructions all together, and don't do a great job at referring to the 03P trim that we're looking at here. If you have an aluminum storefront door, the blade stop is going to need to get removed or ground down, and then what happens is what would really be the cased portion of the frame becomes the soffit. So that's where you're going to judge your template against. So be mindful of that. Okay, easy stuff. Now, finally, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the DCI products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. I'm a vocal fan of DCI, and it's really because they keep it simple. They can ship from their stock quickly. I almost never run into an instance where they don't have adequate inventory on hand. Their people there are hardware people, old school hardware people that understand. They're hardware people. They understand the terminology. They understand the applications, the engineering behind it. They know what you're going to face when you go to install it. You can call them up and say, I need a replacement roller for a DCI gravity coordinator, and they know exactly what, and they're going to say to you, do you want the one, which one do you want is what they're going to say to you. The one for the active door or the one that will make contact with the inactive door. So they understand the business. That link below this video to the manufacturer's page will permit you to see not only all of the DCI products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. The strong suit for DCI, I don't do a lot of their Panex work. I do their power supplies are out there, and we do those. But their trim and auxiliary hardware, their door stops, their roller latches, things of that nature is really low-hanging fruit. If you need to get 15, roller stops shipped out with the integrated stop itself in an oil rub bronze finish in the next 24 hours, quite honestly, DCI should be the only company you're considering, because that's where they shine. No nonsense. Take it up, ship it out. It's done. I do that all the time with them, and they're really grateful for the work, and they earn it on every single order. If you have any questions on the DCI 03P LTD trim and a US28 or any other DCI product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.